Compression cipher. First broadcast. Abbreviated chain. Too short to be decoded. I'm guessing it's something you've memorized.
Rebellions are built on hope.
And welcome to another episode of Radio Rebellion, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Alberto Calderon. Over there is our co-host, OT1 Kenobi. I don't know, it felt like these 3 episodes, they were just the introduction to Radio Rebellion with all the secret radios over there contacting the rebels. Felt fitting for our show. OT, we've reached the end of Andor. We're going to get to that in a minute, but how are you doing today? Thanks for joining us. On a Friday, we had life happens. I couldn't do it tomorrow. Too many things. So thanks for being here today.
Hello. Yeah, I couldn't do it tomorrow either. So
it worked out perfectly.
So happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks. With that said, I know last week I mentioned we were going to have a guest. I had said it a couple of weeks earlier. I said Maggie was going to be here. Obviously, she's not here, so I don't want people to think that I was lying.
What are you talking about? Maggie's right here.
She's right there. Her camera's not working. Unfortunately for us, it's great for her. She's out of the country, in a different country right now, work-related trip, and she couldn't make it with the time change. But she's sad that she couldn't be here, but hopefully we'll do something in the summer. Probably in June, we'll do something with her. And she'll be back. But for right now, it's just us, and that's fine.
It's just us.
I told you before we started, I love your Gaze Electric shirt, Oti. Looks awesome.
Thank you.
With that said, you know what I received? I've been holding, I don't know how I've been able to do this, but look what I have in my hands right now.
Oh, you got it?
It's the finale. It's right there.
Congrats.
I can just scroll to the last page and tell you everything that happened. But I
you start reading?
No, dude. I'm afraid to start. No, I'm finishing I actually have it open right here. My review of Into the Light. I'm like 75% done. I hope to have it out over the weekend. And then probably I'll start reading. So thanks to Random House Worlds for the review copy. And also to Random House Audio. They sent me today audio files for Rogue Planet, which is an Obi-Wan and a very young Anakin adventure when he's like 12 years old. I've never heard of this book. And also Shadows of the Empire, which I've never read. I'll finally be able to dig into it. So
look at you.
Thank you to Random House World Audio. But this is when the burnout starts. Like I have 3 books waiting for me. I have to do review for all 3. So I'm going to take it slow, but I need to get into them. But everything is going to be Trials of the Jedi, Mike Young Rowe, starting hopefully on Monday. But
cool.
Anyway, I'll take
the Gaze Electric.
Man, how's it gonna end? We'll see. Who's out there today?
Brennan is in the chat. Brennan is saying, hello there, gentlemen. I am so beautifully, emotionally drained by this incredible series. It truly has enhanced the story of Star Wars, and we are all better for it. That we are, Brennan.
It sounded like you were reading the crawl for a Star Wars movie or something.
That was on purpose. It's a Star Wars podcast.
Clone Wars.
Get your shit together.
Oh, let me try. A Clone Wars episode. Thank you, Brennan, and everyone else that's joining us today. If you're watching live, thank you for being here. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new episodes when they drop. Comment down below if you're watching this later on the replay, and if you're listening to the audio podcast, thank you. Give us a 5-star rating and review. And don't use Spotify. I'm just gonna say it. I posted on Spotify and then it goes to everyone. But Spotify is now shaming everyone by putting the number of plays that they get. Then they course correct and now you have to get 50,000 plays for them to display your. Dude, just go listen wherever.
I honestly think there's not that many podcasts that get more than 50,000.
No, exactly. When I got that email today, 50,000. I'm like, who's getting that?
I'm pretty sure some of the big Star Wars podcasts don't get 50,000 listens per episode.
And it has to be 50,000 on the Spotify app. If they listen on Apple, it doesn't count. Anyway, thank you for everyone that's listening to
the Joe Rogan clause.
Yeah. And I'll say thank you, Spotify, for hosting our podcast when we do drop it. Anyway, let's go ahead and start because we're here to talk Star Wars. And if you guys are ready, I'm not ready. Let's talk Star Wars and Star Wars on TV.
I am not your failure, Obi-Wan.
Star Wars on TV.
The revolution starts now.
And what a revolution it was, Oti, after I don't know how many years that Andor came out, about 3 years ago. We finally have come to the end of the season, end of the series. We're gonna get, of course, we'll go through
Who
everything.
asked for this?
Who asked for this show for a character that we know his fate already? Who cares? And now most people, because of course there's the little grifters out there that hate everything. And if you didn't like it, that's fine. But a big majority of Star Wars fans are now praising this, whatever way they want to go. If it's going to be the best thing ever, or the best thing since the last Star Wars, or this is what Star Wars should be going forward, or give me all these stories about Leia and Mon Mothma. Great series, very good finale. What were your thoughts on these last 3 episodes before we go into detail? I know you just watched them recently, so I don't know how you made it.
Dude, I've been working a lot. Like, I really haven't had the time to sit down with it. So I watched it last night. I was just gonna watch the 1 episode and watch the rest today before the show, of course. And I ended up watching like 20 minutes of Rogue One afterwards because I watched it all. It was amazing. It really was amazing. I think it's one of the best series closers I've ever seen. I feel like last episodes, like the previous arc, the 3rd one, was a lot of the culmination of everything the show was building to, and this was more of a send-off and a bridge to the movie and to where all these characters we know eventually go. And I was aware that was probably what it was going to be, because the last 3 episodes felt like a climax to the show. So I was worried that this was going to be like, and this is what happened to Biggs, and this is what happened to this guy and that. But I was just so surprised that it wasn't that. Like, the show just told this last story of this characters that just happens to take place the day before the movie we know. And it also happens to take place like a week before the Civil War starts.
Yeah.
So I really like that. I love that it felt a little bit like the Bourne movies. Like everything with Leia going through the buildings, and then the extraction mission, which is of course Tony Gilroy's masterpiece, the Bourne movies. So that was fun, but also like finishing it and being like, I want to watch a Star Wars movie. Cool. Like I was very happy with it.
Yeah, I think what you said there is the way to go in terms that like it didn't feel like this is where every character ends up, even though we did get a bunch of resolutions. But it's like every character that gets introduced in season 1, but especially in season 2, like they get a whole arc, and you find the end of that arc for a bunch of those characters in these last 3 episodes. It doesn't feel like, oh, well, that's an open ended. Why didn't they do that with what character? This character was wasted. Like every single character that might have been a secondary character like 5 or 6 episodes ago are now main characters, and they all get a full arc to go through it. Honestly, when I watched it on Tuesday, which I watched all 3 episodes, which is only the second time I've done this, I was a bit underwhelmed, because I think I was thinking, like you said, I thought, oh, this is the finale. It's going to be a big thing. So I guess my expectations were a little bit different. But that's why I didn't post anything. I said, let me just sit with it. I think it's going to be one of those things. It reminded me of when I watched the Capaldi era on Doctor Who, that I finished. I like, it's not my favorite. But when I think about it, it has some of my favorite moments. So I think it's going to be like that. And then when I watched it on Wednesday, again, all 3 back to back, like, oh crap, each episode keeps getting better and better, and went straight to Rogue One. I was just gonna watch the beginning to see how it ties in. I just watched the whole thing, and then you start picking up how everything connects and every little thing. And I watched it again this morning, and it's like, no, this was a great send-off. Like you said, it does set it. It's a setup for Rogue One, but not a kind of bit by bit. This is how we get to everything that happens. It's every character's journey and decision to get to that point. So in that sense, I do agree it's one of the better finales. And I think having that 3-episode setup that they did, I wasn't too sure at the beginning, did work to tell that
especially
final
for
arc.
this one.
Oh yeah,
where like every episode, like it's literally like an hour and a half movie, and it cuts every 30 minutes.
And that's when I went to Rogue One. The first third of that movie blows by. I like this whole arc. And
we really need to talk about this.
You want to do it now or later?
No. We need to talk about the episodes, but like
we gotta go. All right.
I think we should talk about the Rogue One experience.
All right, so let's go ahead and start with, again, Arc 4, the series finale. Make It Stop, Who Else Knows, and Jedi, Kyber, Urso. We'll do similar that we've done before. We'll kind of mix and match everything.
But I think like with this, I mean, again, we'll do it however you want. But I think with this arc specifically, like, I think this is by far the one that flows for each group of characters the best from like episode 1 to episode 3, because they're all over the place in the other ones. But since this is all happening, everything at the same time, like I think it flows like beautifully.
Yeah. So let's start with the flashback, which I know is a little kind of weird way to start with. But I love I know flashback in Star Wars are that taboo. Do you do them? Do you don't? Are they going to add to the story or detract? Masterfully done. Flashback that tie in and forget the word I was going to say, but it enhances the story they're telling. So everything that's happening in the flashback informs why Clay is making every single decision. Before we get to the flashbacks, love that we got that little scene that they have living quarters inside of their gallery. When that door opens, they get a place where they stay, because we're always sure they're already coming out there with the wigs and all that. That's where they live, basically.
Yeah.
So just as they get set up, and I'm jumping, it's not part of the flashback, just getting ready to go meet with Lonnie, and they're like, I think we've used up all our perfect. Like, whatever happens. I think we're getting to the end.
Oh, because Lonnie triggers like a secret ultra important emergency alarm.
You hit the Death Star button, basically. Now or never. But we find out that Luthen, which wasn't his original name, used to be was a lieutenant with a Sergeant Lear with the Empire. We don't know what time period.
But was it the Empire?
I don't know. That's why I'm not sure. I kind of saw something that they had Mod Trooper armor. It kind of looks like it.
I mean, they haven't said like what it was. I took it as Clone Wars thing, like non-Republic army.
Yeah, I thought it was part of the Separatist war. I couldn't kind of point out what side he was on, but he's basically being traumatized right now. They have people on a firing line just getting executed back then. That's when he starts yelling, "Make it stop, make it stop." And then we find out that Clay is hiding inside the ship.
Her family's being killed.
Yeah. Great way to start, or to make that introduction, I guess, to the character of Luthen, that we had no idea why he was so into this rebellion, how Clay got into it, knowing that she was
we literally knew nothing about Clea. She would just stand on the corner and brood.
Dude, the worst thing is I saw last week people thinking that Clea was actually gonna be Leia, and just take that cake.
I respect people and their opinions, but that's the stupidest theory I have ever heard in my entire life about
and it was
anything.
Multiple people, no one that we know. Just people retweeting.
I don't care if it was anyone that we know. That's the stupidest theory I have ever heard.
It was pretty bad. I mean, we'll get to the other one at the end. But it was pretty bad.
My.
People, they look alike. It'll be a perfect setup for Leia. And I'm like, anyway. But then we get this relationship.
Like every other brunette in Star Wars.
At least they didn't say what's Rey's mom.
That would have actually made sense.
Way better, yeah. But then we see how this relationship kind of started and how it worked. They're selling out all these antiquities, all these artifacts that he had. Maybe he plundered them during his war times and just trying to get rid of them. And then Clea being the one to, haggle with the prices, being the, hey, we need more money for this. And then seeing how she gets more into the rebellion, knowing that the Empire, Separatists, the Republic, whoever it was at that time, murdered her family. And then when they're in that other planet, seeing the same thing, she's like, no, I gotta watch this. And he's like,
Yep.
I'm leaving you behind. But you can see how she starts building that armor and gets on that hatred to the Empire. And it all leads to Naboo and a bombing over there.
Yeah, I love that whole thing with, oh, I'm your daughter now. Well, when it's advantageous.
When it suits me.
And also that conversation they have after the firing squad where he's like, oh, that anger that you have, put it away. We're gonna lose a lot, but at the end we're gonna win.
Yeah, it's just when are we gonna start fighting back? Like, we already started, but we're gonna lose. I'm gonna keep losing until we don't. Just bottle that anger. This is a great way to have that relationship. Yeah, it's not a parent-daughter relationship. Are they equals? Not really. And also him giving her the chance, I guess, to walk away when they're on Naboo. And she's like, oh, just do it now. She's, no, this is a choice. If you want to press it. But take a moment, take a beat, look at the people around you, and decide if this is the life you want to live without having to give all those words.
And I do love that he gives her the chance. And when she's about to press it, like, okay, not yet. Like,
yeah.
I just needed to know.
Yeah. And then training her, like, look away. Don't look at what's going to happen. Don't give it away. Just look at me. Explode now. Look and react. Do you think that word "move" was a code word for something?
I mean, I don't think it's relevant. The show's over.
It's over, but we can talk about. I thought it was relevant. He did tell her to move when they're having that conversation about Lorne and going to meet, and then he repeats that in the flashbacks. But I couldn't find how it relates to what's going on at the end of having to basically pull the plug on Paul Luther.
Move.
Just get out of my way. But again, a great use of the flashbacks.
But do you think it's like in Spanish, muévete? Like when maybe your mom is asking you to do something, you're like, yeah, boy, sure. And she's like, move.
Yeah, I did get it that way. But when he in the flashback says, when I tell you to move,
exactly. When I tell you to do something, do it.
Yeah. All right.
Whatever.
Again, just pulling at straws. So let's go ahead to talk about, I have it as an imperial deconstruction as everything starts falling apart. Dude, Lonnie Young came in clutch. A character that in the first season came out of nowhere as the ISB spy. We got a little bit with him at the beginning of this season, kind of moving pieces or trying to be friends of the Imperials.
Slowly going up the ranks.
Dude, he got everything. He's the one. We gotta give it up to Lonnie. Like, I was surprised that he was the one with all the information. He just said, let me just hack into Deidre's computer files and get her access code.
He did the same thing Deidre did at the beginning. I love that whole thing that it all came from Lonnie and how fragile that information was. Like, if the Empire was like half more competent than they are, they would have probably killed Lonnie and the information would have never gotten.
Dude, the only way they found out is because Deidre was copied on an email, basically. She got a forward to all and she got the information. So yeah, the incompetence
got
of
included
the Empire.
In the single shot.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's so stupid. The Empire, you're the one that usually says it. They're incompetent in everything they do. The most important thing ever.
Arrogantly incompetent.
It's like when Andor says, you just walk in like you belong, right? For them, it's nothing. They think that nothing's going to hurt them. But he said, hey, I need safe passage for my family. We've done all this. Where are you taking me? I'll give you the information, but they're coming after you. They're going to come after me. Get me out of here now. They fucking killed them right then and there.
I knew he was going to do it. Like, I don't think there was any other scenario where Lonnie would make it out alive. I'm surprised Mon Mothma made it out alive. Not armor.
He had to. She had to. I was surprised. I'll say I was pretty surprised that he died at that point. Not that he didn't make it, but that he died and that.
No, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised Luthen killed him.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
The end game. But again, it builds to the tension of that whole episode and the whole series that a character that's basically saving the rebellion gets killed by one of their own. But understand, kind of goes to everything that Mothma said in the previous arc. Like, I'm more afraid of you now because if they catch me, I'm more dangerous than anything. He didn't want Lonnie to give everything up. And we don't know what Lonnie said. Like, he's like, what did you tell them? What did you tell them? So.
Yeah, because he asked him that the last thing we hear is what kind of weapon, Lonnie, and we don't know what he told. I mean, but I don't think they know it's a planet killer.
Oh no, that's
for they Rogue find One. Out in Rogue One.
Yeah, which I think is a great way to then connect the ending of this series to Rogue One and how that information got there. Well, anyway, Gorman, Scarif, weapon, Galen Erso. That's everything that he's telling Clea. Don't worry, I'll go deal with that. You get out of here. I'll burn the shop. That's when I thought, okay, he's not making it out. Why is the old man going to do that work?
Yeah. No, I knew he was gone. Like from how the episodes started to develop, I was like, okay, he's not gonna make it.
So we finally got the confrontation after years and years. Deidre shows up at the shop. When they rang the bell, did you know it was her?
Of course I did. I knew because I remembered that shot. Well, I don't think I don't remember the shot. I think we talked about it or I saw it on Twitter. There's a shot of her on the gallery. So like, okay, it's 3 episodes left. It's probably her.
I love that when she rings the bell, he looks at her from the outside or wherever he was, kind of, oh crap, she's here. But then he still puts the whole facade of smiling. Yeah. Oh, welcome. We're open.
She does the same thing. She's a decent character.
It was perfect when
she was happy.
I didn't know you guys were open. Or I walk over here 100 times. I never come in. He goes, oh, here you are at last. Oh, anything here that's a forgery? 2 pieces of questionable provenance in the gallery. Can you guess which ones they are? It's like, oh, perfect. Perfection. When he got that Natulan blade, I'm like, okay, he has a knife. Someone's going to use it. But when she dropped the N9 Star Path unit, connecting the whole series to the thing that gets everything in motion.
The whole thing that kicked everything in motion. Wow. It's the thing that brought Cyril into the story, the thing that connected Luke. Wow. Yeah.
It's something when she said, oh, I got something. I want you to kind of look at it and make sure it's not bad. I'm like, oh, I knew it. It's going to be the Star Path.
I did not. Even when I saw it, I was like, why would she bring that piece of junk here? And then I was like, oh.
She does. It's a little bit, she doesn't say melted. It's a little bit damaged. I hope it doesn't mess with the price. And that's when everything kind of goes into motion. That conversation that they had, I finally got you, all this. Yeah, the rebellion's gone. Freedom scares you. They're out of here. The rebellion has flown away. Oh, the place is surrounded. Like, who cares? The game is done. There are going to be thousands of people that discuss you when all this gets out. And then he freaking goes and does what he did. Took me by surprise also. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't think he was going to.
No, I wasn't expecting him killing himself right there and there. Then and there.
And it was a perfect smoke and mirror, no pun intended, with the smoke coming out. We took her attention away from him, but also us, because I didn't notice first watch when he kind of turns around when she goes, and then, oh no, he's stabbing himself.
I was like, does he have a bomb? Oh no, he stabbed himself.
And the reaction of her also, like, no, I need him alive. Get the medic here. She kept breaking down. It's every actor in that show.
No, Denise Gao is sensational. Like,
yeah, I mean, can't get any more Star Wars. Maybe she's still alive.
She's still alive.
But yeah, she was great in it. All right, before we keep going, I check a couple of comments in the chat.
Oh, look who's here, Alberto. Lauren Romo is in the
Lauren Romo.
The Luthen interaction was palpable. Yes, it was, Lauren. Let me see. Alan mentioned, and I actually want to see if I can check this out. He wants the Andor plus Rogue One theoretical experience. Yeah, I would actually like to check that out. Would love to see like how that is.
I mean, what it will be like a 4-hour theater experience. We can do it.
I mean,
not me because I don't go to.
Well, yeah, it could probably be 4 hours.
Yeah, I did it at my house, but big screen.
No, but because they're gonna edit the episodes in a way that it just like is a.
Yeah, I mean, you take the credits out and previously on. Then, anyway, great scene between those characters. He's not dead. They take him away. If you just watch it yesterday, I don't think you know this, but do you know where they took him? The name of that hospital?
The Lena So
Medical Center.
Medical Center.
Dude, I didn't know it. I went to StarWars.com to just check stuff about the episode. One of the things is, oh yeah, well the Lena So blown out. What the hell? No.
Yeah. I actually told someone, I was like, you're gonna think this is a spoiler, but it's not because you don't read Aravesh. Yeah. So I'm gonna just tell you, there's a hospital called the Lena So Hospital, and the sign is right in your face. You're not gonna realize it.
When I saw the sign, I thought, okay, it's gonna mean something. I'm not gonna waste my time looking for an Aravesh translator right now. But the next day when I saw it, I'm like, oh my god, Lena So. Why is
I'm
that
like
Empire
the weirdest Star Wars fan because I see that and I'm like, oh look, gibberish.
Yeah. Oh, I tried learning Arabic a couple of years ago, and there's a few letters that I can tell, but not. Oh, there you go.
Lauren hadn't caught that, so congrats, Lauren. Now you know.
It is. It's. I don't know why the Empire still has the name of Lena So hanging there, but we'll leave it. It's fine.
Yeah, Palpatine doesn't remember the hospital was there.
I'm sure he knows something.
Anyway, Hospital of America.
Very soon. It was, then we get that infiltration scene, like you mentioned, this Bourne scene that Tony Gilroy loves. I love the way Clea gets access to it. She doesn't have to go by air duct or anything. I'm just going to go with my hand bandage like I have. And then she steals a patient because no one saw her stealing a patient.
That was so funny.
So she grabs the scrubs and poor alien grandma like, you're just taking me away.
Yep. I love we get that later on, but the whole like it's a 3-man army based on the scope and the like
yeah,
it's Clea, motherfucker.
It's Clea. She put that bomb out there, she stole the scrubs, patient, killed I don't know how many Imperials on 3 floors. And then the bomb distraction that she learned probably from that flashback that we saw a couple minutes earlier. Again, I love how those flashbacks inform what's happening in the present. And then that scene with Luthen saying goodbye without really saying goodbye, very touching.
Yeah.
And I read again on StarWars.com, go check it out. We're not sponsored by them, but it's Star Wars. Talking about the finale. Actually, I'm lying. It wasn't on StarWars.com. It's the little Andor declassified 15 minutes kind of behind the scenes that they do at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The actress that plays Clea talking about how through the flashback and what that scene meant is that she has love and at the same time hate for Luthen because he was part of the people that killed her family, and that hate never left. A part of it was still there. She was, I don't want to say bittersweet, but it was love, but still hate for everything that happened. And that kind of kept their relationship in that level.
Interesting.
Like great insight, and like, oh no, she loved her so much. Maybe not as much as I thought. Yeah. There was some love there, but not.
He loved her.
Oh,
I do think. Like he was a dick, but she's like the one person he kept around.
Yeah, I think he rescued her for a reason and kept her along with her for all those 15, 20 years. Because of what happened.
And I honestly think like he didn't get the chance to, but I think she's the only person he wouldn't cross. Like honestly.
Well, I mean, we've said here all this season, like she's the only one that would straight up stand up to him and tell him where he's slacking, where things are going on, trying to calm him down. And he did the same thing, just yelling at her when the Skuldon thing happened, that they're gonna find a little listening device. They're the only ones that can do that to each other because there has to be some certain level of respect and love between them. But yeah, it's more from his side. But and then that kind of
By the way, Lauren is kind of with you on this. She's saying, I love how in the beginning of episode 10, Luthen says move and move to Clea, and then we learn how important that word was. Such a good storytelling.
All right, so wasn't that far away. Thank you, Lauren. I knew there was something with that word. I can still kind of point out exactly what it meant, apart from move when I tell you to move or do as I say. But I think it was something else there. Yeah, get the hell. I gotta go die. We gotta get things moving.
Look for Cashy.
So finally, kind of finishing up with the whole hospital scene. A little bit later on, Deidre's there. I got him. I found him here. I did your job. It's like, you bastard. You're under arrest because you don't follow instruction. And Partagaz was the one who told me to bring you in. I got an Imperial trooper, whoever, to take you in. Shut the hell up. You're coming with me. And she's like, oh, crap. What happened?
Yep. Let's get this sorted.
Let's get this sorted. And
Dedra.
Enter Krennic. But before we get to Krennic, we get when Partagaz hears about Lonnie's dead or Young's dead, because they don't use first name. They're talking about subordinates. But you saw his reaction of surprise and kind of shock. And then later on, when Krennic learns about it, he's like, do you think I care about a lowly worker? And that's going to make me come to this wretched basement?
Mm-hmm.
How they don't give a shit about anyone beneath them.
Laura is saying Dedra getting arrested was on my bingo card. Lauren, on my show, I told Tony that I thought that she was gonna become like a Grand Moff.
That's going all the way to that.
Yeah, and she's like, she'll come back in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. She was part of the Imperial Remnants. She was part of the First Order, trying to get everything.
He got the
back.
coordinates to Exegol. Went with
man. She got the coordinates to somewhere.
Brendel Hux. And Ray Sloan and
I love
Gallius Rex.
When Supervisor Hirt is in the hospital and then just blames everything on Dedra.
Hirt, you idiot.
He's such an idiot.
He got the best stuff ever, though.
It's being used as a shield. But I also love, like, you've been in a job when someone leaves and then everything that happened is their fault. Every time someone tries to cover it, it's like, that's the way. Oh, it's this person did it. When I left my previous job to the job I am now, people I still have contact with would call me to say, hey, they're blaming you for this, they're blaming you for that. That's what here did.
Every time I've left a job, I've told them, like, hey, if anything happens, just blame me.
Yeah, that's basically what I say. This is Deidre's mission. They hurt people. Everything was her fault. Well, let's talk about Krennic and Deidre. Deidre's there in that little circle, being watched by all the cameras in that little prison cell. Not prison cell, in that little conference room. Is the urgency of the situation not palpable? Like, why am I here? Say the word. Come on. I want to hear you say the word.
Dude, as someone who is obsessed with Ben Mendelsohn and Ben Mendelsohn as Krennic, this was everything I've been wanting to see since I left the Rogue One theater, thinking, like, I want to see more of that guy.
Yeah.
That was so good. Like, and yes, like that line specifically, him being like, you know exactly why I'm here.
Yeah. You say it. Death Star. Who else knows? Oh, Partagaz. No. Someone I don't know. Tell me who I don't know. And they starts rattling off all the names. Was Young your partner, your friend?
There's a soldier that I kind of didn't like, but kind of knew.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. The way he kind of just rams into her, thinking she's a rebel spy, and I can't remember the line exactly, but if you miss your calling or something, if you're not a rebel spy, you miss your calling, the way you believe everything that you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Then
he's hellbent on it was you. Yeah, I just think he needs someone to take the fall.
Oh, of course. And that goes later on. We'll talk about his conversation with Partagaz. But then, how do you hear the name Galen Erso? How do you learn about Galen Erso? And that we go, oh, well, sorry, some files got sent my way 2 years ago or something. I didn't say anything. And then, if he stole it, he did it by himself. And the finger on top of the head to make you feel more like nothing.
Amazing.
And you're a scavenger. Yeah, I have to scavenge for information. If they didn't tell me that this happened, and that's when she kind of goes into Clea being part of it, and that's when he's like, how can you be so smart but at the same time so stupid?
Laura is saying they really showed how evil Krennic is, and I agree. But I do love like how the movie flows into Rogue One, and everyone's been posting this thing that like, there's always a bigger fish,
Yeah.
And how Dedra then had Partagas had Krennic, and so on. And of course, that Shane continues in Rogue One, but also like Krennic in this show is like the authority figure. He's like, oh, I've met with the Emperor, and I'm running the secret project for everyone.
Yeah.
And then we get to Rogue One, and he's just a whiny little bitch.
It's my achievement, not yours.
Like he's like, I meet with the Emperor, and then it's like, I'm assistant regional manager.
That's how Tarkin treats him. The way he treated Dedra and Partagas is the way Tarkin treats him.
Put his finger and then be careful not to choke on your
aspirations, director. But we continue with Krennic. Then the scene when Heard comes and say, "Oh, it's the assistant. How are we gonna decimate this information? What's the warrant gonna be?" And Partagas like covering his face. How can you be so dumb? She's infected. We need to get her before 1,000 of people die. Go do it. And Krennic's like, "What are you doing here? You heard the move exactly." But then it goes to what you were talking about. Yeah.
The Empire's incompetence. I love how it's on display there. They take Dedra. They need someone to take the fall. Yes, she broke some rules. Of course, she's gonna get punished. But she's obviously competent.
Yeah.
And they strip her down. They strip her down from her ranks.
Yeah.
They put her in prison and get this guy who is clearly unqualified for his job to run.
Was her assistant a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So, and they're like, you have to solve this like right now, or you will like the consequences will be dire. And of course, this empire fell. Like everyone running it was stupid, and we see that in Empire Strikes Back.
It's something when then you compare that to Luthen, how much I don't want to say how much we criticize it, but people inside the show, in terms of the people in Yavin, criticized the way he ran things, like it was his way, just everything ran through him, but everything worked. In the Empire, you have all these levels of bringing Dedra down, moving here. What's the warrant? You gotta do this. Okay, go disseminate. And then when they need to bring the police, quote unquote, to help them at the end, when they go to find Clea and Cassian, they're like, oh no, everyone's trying to work with the rumor we disseminated because they put all the people on it.
Even think about the first episode when they're discussing the energy project. It's gonna be this.
It's fake, by the way.
Multi-department thing, and everyone's gonna collaborate. We have the help of everyone interconnect, and we slowly see that drift away. In the last arc, it was the whole like, I need you to say the orders so I can blame you. If this goes south. And now it's like they're out to eat each other, and that's their downfall, because then Krennic is gonna be taken down by Tarkin, and it's a cycle that never ends.
Yeah. But it all starts, and I love when Dedra is kind of telling them, hey, it's the assistant, she wasn't there, this is what we're gonna do. And she still thinks there's a way out, and Krennic just sits her down by the face, like, we'll manage without you. Like, you're a scapegoat right now. We're gonna go deal with this. I love that scene also when he's telling Heard, who is looking at Partagas, basically saying, failure will get you in the ever-lengthening line of ISB Death March. Looking at Partagas like, you're next if this doesn't happen. Tells him, hey, I can't protect you, Leo. Call him by the first name. I love them, Partagas being the little bitch that he is also. Oh, you sound like, oh, save that sermon. He tells them, oh, you're supposed to be done by now. What's going on? Oh, you sound like Krennic. I mean, you sound like Tarkin. And then he goes like, oh, save the sermons for the Emperor. Like, I love that conversation between them.
They're clearly friends-ish.
Yeah, but it also shows how, hey, Partagaz, if it doesn't work out, your next one on the chopping block, which we'll see by the end.
Partagaz has his trust enough to be able to, like,
of course. Anyone else would have been dead at that point.
Yep.
Then here it goes to Clea to get information on. Sorry, it goes to Deidre to get information on Clea, and Deidre still trying to find a way around it. When it's like, oh, is this a test? Still trying to work her way around. It's like, sorry, you're there. Nemik's manifesto. I know this is at the end, but it's about this Imperial downfall.
I loved how, like, hearing it and being like, holy shit, that's the manifesto. and then being a recording that Partagaz is playing and being like, why is this spreading? Like, why aren't people listening to this?
So this is, I believe, right? It's spread. It's not just them that they got and the Empire's listening to it. It's being spread across.
Yeah, no.
Because I would say more people are listening to it or something. Eventually, we'll find out maybe how they got their hands on it. Not how they got their hands on it, but who spread it out. Do you think it's maybe Luthen's? No, Luthen didn't have it. Cassian's the only one that we know had it, so I don't know.
Yep. Doesn't Cassian leave it with someone?
Vale, I guess. Vale at the end of that episode in season 1, so maybe Vale before she.
Vale's the one who. Yeah. I don't know.
But great.
We don't need an answer to all of this.
Oh, we don't. I'm fine. I think we'll get some answers. Not all that one, but some other stuff. But then it goes to Legret, a guy that was getting chewed up in the first couple of episodes for not having the simple reason for why catching all those criminals, supposed criminals, didn't get them closer to finding the rebels. Comes by to find Partagaz. Hey, they're waiting for you downstairs. I need to take you. And Partagaz knew at that point what was coming. So another big shock that he.
I did not expect that.
No.
Though that moment when they hear the blast and Legret is his name.
Yeah, Legret. Yeah, like he knew.
Settle down.
Like it goes like we talked this imperial hierarchy ladder that the only one that matters is the Emperor. Everyone, even Vader, because every chance the Emperor gets to downgrade Vader a couple of notches, Tarkin downgrades him.
He's pissed off he killed all the Jedi because he can't replace Vader. He's like, and when Luke's like, oh, finally, a hot 19-year-old.
Yeah, it's what I always wanted. But it's like that what you mentioned, we talked about in other episodes, how this hierarchy and how everyone gets chopped down. But like Partagaz for us was an important person in the Empire. At the end, he was just even lower than a regional manager. It was nothing.
I mean, like, even Tarkin was just a piece in the puzzle. I mean, not Tarkin, Krennic. Tarkin, I think Tarkin was like one of the most important people.
Yeah, but apart from that, everyone's replaceable.
Well,
and you get put in the Narkina 5 prison cell.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the message to the rebellion. Clea's on the run, and she's building the secret radio. I love that Clea has all her artifacts out there, all her little radio pieces. We had that very fancy one in the shop. But now she's going rogue, building this ham radio out of pieces and cables she's ripping out from the wall. Our friend Wilmon gets the message, of all people. His girlfriend.
I love everything.
You got porn down under your bed. What's going on here?
Who are you texting? in what's the name?
Yeah, that.
Oh my god!
You'll get it.
Morse code.
There you go. Morse code. It's a great way to get the message out.
Yeah.
Wilmon, of all people, that I don't say it was no one in season 1. Of course, it was important to the ending. But
remember he stayed with Luthen's doing jobs, so I think it would make sense that maybe they formed a friendship and they're like,
right.
Hey,
I was a little bit surprised when Cassian came out and said, hey, sorry, Luthen didn't make it. Why he got so emotional? It's like we didn't get to see it, but I guess he did made a lot.
But we knew they worked together a lot.
Yeah.
But also maybe it's a thing they all knew about because when Will brings it in, Cassian I think knows what it is. The message.
Oh, the box.
Yeah, Cassian like immediately reacts,
Yeah.
and Melchi also. So like,
yeah, they've been there for a year, so you know. But before we get to that,
no,
Cassian,
I'm just saying. You posed the question.
No, it's fine. I'm going into this. Cassian, Melchi, and K2 playing dominoes in the middle of the jungle. Rianza is the name of the game, but what a great
blast.
I love, and we talked about this. I remember we talked about Loki season 2 that in the middle of the chaos, they took a moment to breathe. In Loki, when let's go eat some pie and talk about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the chaos, they're relaxing, having fun, joking with K2, trying to goad him into making a wrong move. Love that we got a little bit more with Melchi, away from the war, away from the prison.
Yeah, now Melchi's actually a character, by the way. All of y'all acting like he was the most important. He's the background character. Now he's a character.
Now he's something. He did a lot. But I love that scene. It's just a scene that let's just sit down for 2 minutes and have fun. And that's great banter. Not every dialogue and monologue has to be this great denouncement of the Empire.
I mean, and the promise of Alan Tudyk is jokes. So
yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was great. A great scene to just kind of relax from, before Wilmon comes in with the unauthorized radio transmission. Because of course K2's like, what the hell is going on? We're breaking all the rules. We're breaking 17 already. 18 when they leave. Why didn't Will go with them? I know he had a bad leg. Apparently, he was limping through the whole episode. Sorry,
that's why.
Yeah, that's why. We take Melchi, take Wilmon with you. But no, he was hobbling. He wasn't going to be able to.
Maybe he and Melchi are closer friends now. I don't know.
Yeah. So they leave. They go on a test run, and not authorized test run. I love that little when they're calling, hey, you're not authorized, kind of power down, reminiscing to then when Rogue One, when they're taking the ship, there is no Rogue One. Kind of setting everything up.
I didn't realize they were in space, so suddenly it's like, okay, let's go. Heartburst is like, oh, okay.
Yeah, already halfway there. I enjoy, because it was then throughout for the last episode, everyone that worked with Luthen, defending Luthen to the people in Yavin, like Wilmon defending to Draven, which I guess is one of the big heads over there.
That's like 40 scenes from now.
But yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about that. Okay.
Well, just...
Okay.
No, because when they leave, Wilmon defends
Luthen. Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
Then it does it again when Cassian comes in and talks to everyone over there. So we're going to talk about Clea when they go find Clea in the tower.
Yeah, another Born Identity scene. Them sneaking around there. By the way, this episode, I'll say, I'm bummed that we only got Alan Tudyk for 2 episodes, basically. Because the first episode was just the Luthen episode. But hearing, Tony Gilroy explain why he did this, it makes sense. Like, he just has to be reduced to a stay in the car character. And also the show deals with so many heavy things. Having Alan Tudyk be like, the odds are high that we die, by the way, after, during the Gorman massacre wouldn't make sense either. So I'm finer with that, I guess. But also, like, if this was the 5-season thing they initially promised, then we could have probably gotten more Alan Tudyk. Whatever. I'm just being grumpy.
Yeah, I agree. I had 2 things that I wish we would have gotten a little bit more. One was a little bit more K2. But yeah, trying to balance his humor with the actual show is a little bit difficult if he's going to be in every scene that Cassian is at. If not, again, living in the car, living at Yavin for some reason. And then I wanted more Saw Gerrera, because we saw him in that.
Fine.
You're fine. I love his arc, his little scenes in the second arc. we didn't get him in Arc 3, so I was hoping to get at least something on Jeddah, because we saw that in the trailer. He's sitting there in Jeddah looking at the Star Destroyer.
That's all we get.
Yeah, that's everything. So I guess when I watched it the first time, I was waiting for Jeddah and something to happen there. I don't know, there's just one scene that we saw in the trailer, and that's it. But anyway, they go to find Clea. The Empire being just as miserable as they are with their little BS meter, trying to find where the radio signal is going on. And let's talk about it. Here it gets used as a shield by K2 when he comes in after blocking all that communication, and Parter is trapping itself because he doesn't know what's going on. Great little scene, and I love when Melshi walked into the middle of the hallway. Doesn't stay there, drop your weapon, and then just jumps back.
I would have loved to know what Cassian's plan was. He's like, "Don't close the door," and Melshi's like, "Why?" It's like, "Because we'll be trapped." And I'm like,
we're already trapped. Yeah.
No, that scene was super cool. Like,
yeah.
It was very tense, even though like we know Melshi and Cassian live, so masterful job there. And of course then the comedy relief of K2 coming in and just like slapping people out of the way. And of course the line that Cassian, I've cleared a path.
Oh man, it's one of those things they tell K2 just to stay behind, but he always needs to come in at the end to save the day, because he knows that something was going on. Again, plays perfectly to Rogue One, where he goes into Jeddah. A lot of noise for two people blending in. But before we get to that, it's when they find Clea, and she's like, "Oh, of course it will be you, the one that comes." And her reluctancy to go to Yavin. I know what they think of Luthen. I'm gonna be taken as a prisoner. They won't believe me. You need to be the one to tell them. Cass's like, I won't lose anyone else. Like, you need to come with me. You need to be the one to tell them the message. It's a weapon. They're building a weapon. This obsession with the Kyber, connection to Galen Erso, Jeddah, and slowly setting out the pieces for Rogue One.
Yeah, no, I love all of that with her just like dragging her feet on going to Jeddah to Yavin.
And even though we know that Cassian and Melshi won't die in that scene, we don't know what's going to happen with Clea when they throw that stun grenade there.
Oh, shit, right.
Yeah, but a great scene. Why was Melshi carrying Clea and not K2? It's very easy for that droid to carry her.
They need the droid to slap people out of the way.
There was no one else at that point.
They didn't know that.
Just let me.
But you asked the question, I'm answering it.
No, I don't like your answer. I like the droid to work.
You just want to be like, I found a plot hole.
I found it. It sucks. I'm going to make a video after this complaining all the plot holes, how it should have ended. So let's go to what I titled "The Rebellion is Born" at this Yavin Council. Let's talk about most of this was this last episode, episode 12, everything that sets up for Rogue One. We talked a little bit about Saw that we didn't get as much as I wanted, but that little scene that we get with him talking to Mothma, talking with Organa, basically very similar to when he talks with her in Rebels.
Yeah.
I love how we know you're on Jeddah.
No, I'm not.
You have no idea where I am. Ooh, smokes and mirrors. You don't know. I can bend them to my will. They don't know. Ha ha ha.
I love how they're like, Saw, we just want to fight with you, man. Just like cut the crazy. Tell us where you are. We'll pick you up. You have a seat here. Like, just come home. It's like, no.
How many times have to go through this? We know you're just throwing a smoke bomb and just running out.
Smoking the ride on, baby.
Smelling that ride-o, baby. Being scolded, reminding him that rebellion is bigger than any one of them. If only you could fight as well as you lie. Dude, you're the one lying. We know. We're going to go see you in 5 days. We're going to be there.
Yeah.
Help us. So I needed more Saw, but it was fine. At that point, he's so out of it that I understand why he wasn't part.
He's insane. And I love Genevieve O'Reilly. Like, she's like, okay, you're high, I guess.
Poor Bale has no idea who any of these people are. The Senate was easier than this. And he's like, oh my God, when Draven comes, there's when Cassian is coming back. It's that Andor and the stolen ship. Yeah, dude, this happens. Like, get used to it.
Yep.
Rados is back with everyone else from Rogue One, and the Yavin crew was there. Freaking loser.
This is Admiral Rados from the Rebel Alliance.
I love that first it was just a name drop. He was then on the council, then he was there on another scene. It's like, yay, Rados.
When the name drop, I was like, oh, the DiCaprio meme. And then when he showed up, I gasped.
Showed up, talked, went in another scene. It's like, no, he's there. It's not a prop. He didn't just, he's there in the background.
Admiral goddamn Rados. He's a war hero, son.
He's a war hero. We got the
Leia's ship is named after him.
I know, which is awesome. Senator Jebel, good to know he's always sucked. The rebellion is finished and nothing here, and you suck. And when was the last time that you talked with him? It's like, what? Do I hate that guy?
I mean, he's why perfect. Are you here, sir? Why are you here?
And then that meeting when Cassian comes back, this meeting with the rebel leaders. Again, that's when Rados is there like, Dodona's not here. So we gotta wait for him. Let's just talk about it. This is active intel. We gotta deal with it. He starts talking about, give information about the weapon, telling them the whole message from Clea that it came from Luthen. None of them believing him. And then I love when I watch Rogue One, when they get that message from Galen, and Jeannie said, hey, we all know the message, just go and tell them. It's like, I'm not the one you have to convince. You gotta go tell the council what happened, what the message is, and let's see if they believe you, because I just talked to them 2 days ago, told them basically what's going on, and they didn't believe me.
They don't believe me.
It's not me who you have to convince. And that's when I see that when they say, you're gonna watch Rogue One a different way, it's not because, look at this character here. It's not everything that got set up in that last episode works perfectly with a lot of scenes in Rogue One.
No.
But then it's a lot of that convincing them of who Luthen was and trying, hey, none of us will be here without Luthen. Hey,
I love that speech that Cassian gives.
Yeah.
Gives like the whole like, I know the good and the bad, but there's something like disgusting about seeing people who haven't sacrificed half of what he had to sacrifice.
That was,
trashing him.
Yeah.
Standing on what he built.
I mean, it's perfect. And then when, again, Bale, I love you, but sometimes you need to be put on your place. When was the last time you spoke with him? A year ago. When I was saving her ass.
That was a great moment.
Because the people you send to compromise, that's the last time I spoke with him.
Jab.
Like, yeah.
Because Luthen knew you were compromised.
Yeah. That was so. I know he tried. People change in a year. No, dude. That's the genre, so you can't talk your way out of this one. He got you there, so.
Did it rub you the wrong way that Bale was being this way?
A little, till he went to talk with Cassian and kind of say, okay, if Mothma believes in you, if all this that's happening is true, then go find out the truth. I mean, I understand in a point, like, they've been building to this rebellion for a long time. There's a lot of things happening. It can be a lot of coincidence. So it did rub me a little bit that he was that sharp at that point. But I think it's softened up by the end when he goes talk to him. And, hey, if I'm going to die, I want to die swinging. So I just don't want to sit back here without doing anything. I think it plays into Rogue One when they're, hey, let's go fight. And he's there with Mothma like, okay, let's do this.
Because I know a lot of people were angry, like, that's out of character and whatnot. And I kind of felt that way at the beginning. I was like, really, Bale, you're going to be the one taking this stance? But then thinking about it, I think a couple of things. One, he's still a senator.
Yeah.
Like, he never defects, really.
Yeah, he talks about knowing about the energy project being alive. Yeah, we funded it. We know about this.
And so I think maybe there's this stance between leadership, like the ones that are still part of the government being like, these people have been here for like a year. They're in an echo chamber. They're going crazy. They're believing these theories. Like, we need to be the voice of reason. But also, like, think about Mothma. Mothma's like, I don't want to dismiss this. We need to talk about it. She's upset that they're dismissing it. But even she knew Luthen.
Yeah.
Like, she really knew him. And even she's like, well, I need you to, like, confirm this for me. Because I don't know. So maybe that's how deeply broken the relationship with Luthen was.
Yeah. And that, if I don't want to say it, rub me the wrong way, when we go to Rogue One, when Mothma is the one that tells Jane, like, we don't have enough information to go attack, when they get back with them, and she's like, it's, without the full support of the council, we really can't do anything. Knowing everything that she went through, that's the only thing that kind of didn't match with me. But it's putting it on the whole council. We need to have a quorum to be able to do it. Then we get Tivik. It didn't go that way, I thought. I thought Clea was going to be talking to Tivik to pass the information to Andor. Didn't go that way. We did get that Tivik mentioned as Kasha's informant on Kafrene. He's been calling. He's the only one. He only wants to talk to Cassian. And then that's when I guess that was the catalyst to have all the information try to make sense. Okay, mention of a weapon, what's going on in Jeddah, mention of Kybers, and then Tivik is calling, like everything starts falling into place. And that's when Draven's kind of, okay, there might be something more to this. Let me go talk to Mothma, and then the two of them go to Organa. So that little thing is like, okay, maybe it's too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence, to be a coincidence or whatever. So I love that little connection with Tivik. And when Draven tells Cassian, hey, do you trust him? I try to then, okay, that's why he killed him at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe you need a little bit more to kill him. But I can understand. I guess he learned from Luthen. If they catch him, he's going to mess everything up. So.
Yeah, no, the Empire can't know that they know.
No. I mean, Deidre tells, and that's when she's arguing with Krennic, like, hey, you found an informant or someone in, I think she says Jeddah or something, and by the way you guys do things, you killed him without information. And that's when he kind of throws it like,
but I think she's talking about what's Riz Ahmed's character.
But she said that I thought about it, but she said that they killed him.
Did she say? I thought she said they torture him to insanity, basically, which fits with that character.
It was kind of,
because that was the whole thing. He was super shook with everything, and then he gets to Saw Gerrera, he's like, I'm gonna strap you on to my dominatrix octopus thing.
We'll know the truth. Either way, if they killed one or it was Bodhi Rook, it shows again how the Empire doesn't know how to do things correctly.
They are arrogantly incompetent.
Because I don't know if it had to do like 2 arcs ago when they were gonna bring Dr. Goyce and his program to torture people. If that's what they did to torture that guy, everything fits. Everything works.
No.
So Draven goes, okay, you're free to go. You're going to Kafrene, and we're going to Rogue One.
Yeah.
And perfect setup. He has the jacket on, and then we get to this calm. I love this calm before the storm. When he's kind of walking over there, we see Melche just training with the troop, just running. Mothma with Vel just having breakfast in the brig with all the other soldiers. Clea is finally walking out, kind of seeing how Willman is eating breakfast also with his girlfriend. Like everyone's life is good right now.
Yeah.
And in 24 hours, hell is gonna break out.
Yeah. So we didn't really talk about Clea getting settled in.
Let's go with it out.
I really liked her exploring like everything and running into Vel, and Vel, you know, they aren't friends, but they know each other, and the situation has changed. So I love that she's like, oh, I have friends everywhere. You're here with friends. I'm glad how that wrapped up, and knowing that Clea was, you know, in my head canon, she was in the Resistance. Like the day after Leia got impeached, she was like in her home, being like, "Okay, when are we starting this? Like,
Yeah.
I need a war." And again, she gets to see the dream. I guess she gets to live what they worked for, and I do like that. I do like that. Not everyone needs to sacrifice themselves for the cause. Some of them get to see it, and I do like it. She like has that moment taking it and like, okay, we did this. This is happening because of us. But it was funny. I was talking to my cousin, and we were talking about like, it's awesome that she got some peace of mind. She got somewhere to hang out. In like 3 days, she's gonna be running for her life because the Death Star is gonna be parked outside.
Right there. Maybe she set up all that communication thing that they have on Yavin with all, just to track the Death Star.
Because like, New Hope is like a week away. So
if you start watching everything together, thinking about it, it's like, yeah, in a month, the Death Star will be destroyed.
And also that means like moment of peace. The war is literally about to start.
It's there. And the Death Star was operational for about a week and a half before it got blown up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Clay.
She was in Hoth. She was in Andor.
Yeah, she was. Vel is the only person that she knows there, apart from Cassian. Basically, that's the only person she knows. So when she's
and Magma.
Yeah, but when she runs into Clay, you can see her face. She has no idea where she's at, what's going on, and it was kind of like you said, maybe not, but it was a friendly face, someone that you know to kind of just take you in. But then I love at the end when everything's happening and Cassian's walking out, that's when we see her waking up. It's finally the morning, it's not raining, and she sees what she helped build. A little sunrise. Smile comes out at sunrise. And I love the way it intercuts with Deidre being in Narkina 5. 2 characters very dedicated to one goal, and how everything shifted.
Deidre got consumed by what she helped build, and Leia is gonna thrive because she's gonna live forever.
Yeah, I mean, she's there. She's in the end. She'll be in the next Rey movie. She'll be there. I can sense it now. She's alive. Dude, Narkina 5, or at least an Narkina type prison system came up. Deidre, the most imperial person that you can ever meet, got brought down by the own system she helped not create, but kind of build up. And now it's no one's, a number. And finally breaks down and shows some emotion when she starts crying when lights go out, because we know what that means.
Yep.
Fate worse than death. Didn't expect this to happen, but I think it's a great fating, great.
Cyril at least got to die.
So I was thinking that you mentioned not everyone has to die. We keep always thinking who's gonna die because they're not in Rogue One. The people in Rogue One, they're not a New Hope. They have to die. Like the Imperials are the ones that got this. Because Cyril was not in Rogue One, Deidre was not, Partagas was not, and all of them are the ones that we lost. We do lose, of course, Cinta, Brasso. Hey, when they toasted all the people
lose
that
a lot
died,
of people.
They didn't toast Brazos. I was a little bummed that they didn't toast Brasso.
Oh, but that was very emotional, like Namek.
Gore.
Namek is the only name I remember right now.
Yeah. Gore, I think, is the name of the one that the Imperial that worked inside. They mentioned all the other ones, and then for the Aldani,
I love that little drop they did, like that. Nobody and Aldani is a legend, and no one knows who went there and did what, and people take credit for it. And Vel's like, I always want to shoot when I hear people like,
oh yeah, I didn't. Okay, so
no, Cassian says I've heard people take credit for it, and she's like, I've heard people.
So I would kill if I heard that I would kill them. It's like, yeah, I believe you would. So okay, now that I'm gonna act surprised or stupid. They were talking about the Aldani Heights. I thought they were talking about the Gorman massacre because it was Cassian. I don't know. It came after, might have been after the Aldani mention. It doesn't matter. Like, it fits any of the measures that they did. Because also when Cassian tells the council that he's the one that saved Mothma, most of them don't know. They think it was the escort that brought her. It's like, we'll know it was you. Well, no one there knows. Like, oh crap, this is
exactly. the official story is the Ghost Crew victory.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought we didn't. I know it doesn't fit with the show, but in the rain when Clea is walking around kind of lost, I was hoping that the Maya Pay Brigade was gonna show up. Oh, you found us! Finally, we've been lost for 10 years. And then show Maya.
They're super dead.
Good. They build a base over their bones. What do you thought about Perrin hanging out with Scoldon's wife?
Divorced Perrin with the mullet and the piercings. Perrin. Did you hear about that deleted scene? I don't know now if I read this like for real or not, but there was this supposed deleted scene where he confronts Mon Mothma and basically tells her like he knew all along.
Yeah.
And that the Empire interrogated him and he never said anything, and even then he couldn't earn trust. And I kind of hate that scene, isn't it, in the show?
Yeah.
Because and he's with
Scoldon's wife.
Yeah.
Of all the people. Well, he looks defeated. Like, this is not the life that he wanted. Like, he misses Mothma because, I mean, I guess Scoldon's wife is the same as him in terms of party all this. At least Mothma, there was something there that even if it was just argument, there was always a little bit of love there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard about that scene. I don't know if it was just on the script or if they.
No, I don't think they shot it.
This is why I think, and I'm gonna put my glasses on, my reading glasses. Well, and there's 2 more books for the Reign of the Empire trilogy that also jump a bunch of years. So I think it's not that we're gonna follow
Perrin.
Perrin is in the first book,
and
Mothma is a big part. So maybe we get some of his interrogation. But I think giving Andor all these 1-year gaps between arcs, some of the things that people like me might say, oh, we didn't get to see this, or why is Wilmot limping all of a sudden? I don't think it will tie perfectly, but some of those gaps can then be incorporated into those Reign of the Empire books and give a little bit more context into Rogue One. And if Reign of the Empire, the first one called The Mass of Fear, was named because of Nemik's manifesto when he says the Mass of Fear, I'm pretty sure they'll do some tie-ins to season 2.
The mullet and the piercings?
The piercings were a bit weird.
Yeah, but I'm not satisfied with Perrin's arc. I think Tony Gilroy promised us more, and I don't think we got more, but whatever. I'll be fine.
He got the little speech in the first arc, and that was it. I kind of miss Perrin, and we talked a little bit about it last week. I think we did. But are we going to see Perrin after she left Coruscant? I wish we got something.
It really felt like the show forgot about him, and at the end they were like, oh, we didn't forget about him. He's here.
Yeah, he's there. He
Buck is in the chat.
Hey, Buck, how you doing?
Hello, Buckaraya.
Buckaraya. Go back later, listen to all our comments. So let's go to a big one. Before we get to that one, so when Vel and Cassian are talking and Vel tells him, hey, you should go check in on Biggs, so he's like, oh, maybe later. Don't wait too long. She knew, right? Vel knew?
Yeah, of course she knew.
How do you feel about the
secret baby? But also I kind of like how it's like that ex that is still friends with your friends, and it's like, oh, you were texting her? Yeah,
when he asks, I heard is she doing okay? And she says, yeah, from all I heard, she's doing fine. She's in Mina Rao. She's with B2, which is what I said last week. She got a secret baby. How do you feel about the secret baby to end the show?
I think it's the only thing about the show that I hated. But again, I
almost made a spit take.
I did not like it. I don't think it complimented Rogue One at all. I mean, it did, but at the same time, it didn't. Like, I was like, oh, but thinking about it, like, yeah, Star Wars is a soap opera in a way, so that was very soap opera-y.
Very soap opera.
It does bring that whole thing with, the sunrise. It adds value to it. I don't think it doesn't add anything to Rogue One, but I think we could have just had that scene with Bix and the B2 emo, which, yes, clarity, finally.
He's
Not
alive.
satisfied with that arc. It's parent territory. The show forgot he was there. But yeah, not a huge fan. But I get it. I get what they were going for there.
I've heard from Tony Gilroy the decision to make that scene the last one. He was kind of going back and forth if it was going to be too cheesy or not, and decided to go with it, talking about how this show and Star Wars is about hope and families and that connection. And like you mentioned, the rising of the sun at the end of the day. I understand it. I didn't like it when it showed up. I get it for other people that did like it, that's fine. It doesn't mean that I hated the show or hated the ending. I've seen in the past 2.5, 3 weeks, 4 different shows that have a secret baby at the end. So I was over it at that point. Yeah. Well,
were you watching soap operas?
No, so The Last of Us, again, you knew about this, but 2 weeks ago, secret baby in The Last of Us. She's pregnant. I watched in Netflix 4 Seasons, which is a comedy show.
Oh, spoilers, man. Spoilers. El Conquistador. Come on.
Secret baby. Sorry, spoilers. And I watched another show.
You know it was shot in El Conquistador?
No, but I heard you say Conquistador, so
there's I haven't seen it, but there's apparently a beach resort thing.
Yes.
Puerto Rico. Fajardo.
All right, so anyway, there, a third show that I won't mention so I don't spoil it. And then now,
is there
another secret
show I watched?
If I tell you, then I spoil it, so I won't. You want me to tell you which one?
I'm thinking of what other shows are running that.
You want me? I can say it. I don't care. You care or no?
No, say it.
In the Cat Bane arc in Tales of the Underworld.
Okay, whatever.
There's a secret. Anyway, the thing is, 4 straight show with a secret baby at the end, and we're kind of gone off the rails. Again, same thing. It didn't add anything to me. Yeah, now the baby grows up without a dad. I know. Yeah, but he's gonna learn that his father was this great rebellion hero. I get it. We don't need it.
Perrin walks into the scene. Hey, baby Bix. That was our son.
You need someone? I got an empty house I need to fill up in Coruscant. I didn't feel that it added to Cassian's story, to the sacrifice that he made. Or does it make Rogue One sadder because he now can't meet his son?
Does he make out with Jin in that movie, by the way? Because I can't remember right now. They don't.
The joke is that in that elevator scene, they do make out, but they never do. They're very close, but they do not make out.
Okay. Whatever.
What is
Buck is saying? My thing is, how do you give Bix any sort of happiness after all she's been through and all she's about to lose? I'll stop you right there, Buck. Bix is Puerto Rican. We find happiness in the direst of situations. Give her a baby, I guess. Yeah, that kind of felt like that. Like,
yeah.
She needs to smile. What do we do? She's pregnant.
Yeah. I understand that for some people, they again want to go to now that son will learn that his dad was a rebellion hero and maybe he joins the resistance and blah, blah, blah. But it didn't add anything to my enjoyment of Rogue One to what I think Cassian's sacrifice was. So to me, that part was, I can skip it.
No. Again, it's the one thing. I'm perfectly fine saying it. I hated that decision, but whatever.
Yeah. All right. So that's the end. Cassian Andor, his story's over. At least that's so. This show is over. Then it goes into Rogue One, how everything connects to Rogue One.
Can we quickly talk about Rogue One?
Quickly, I want to do at some point a bigger show talking about the whole Andor arc and Rogue One, but let's talk about it real quick.
So quickly, just mentioning, it really does feel like a different movie. At least those first 20 minutes, that scene in Kafrine, completely different for me. Does it change my opinion on the movie? No, I still think it's a pretty mediocre movie. But I did like the extra context, and how everything just flows into it. Like, for every character that's in the show and in the movie, I wasn't expecting it to be this good. Even though it's Tony Gilroy who helped make the movie, I wasn't expecting it to flow this well, and I was so pleasantly surprised to see like how it all came together.
Were you able to watch the whole thing?
No, I
Just
dropped out when I was tired when they were
Okay.
in Jeddah.
All right. I want to go watch when you get a chance. Watch it all the way to see if your opinion on the movie changes, apart from just those 20 minutes. Which again, the thing for me, it blows by so fast, and the first 25 minutes they're already on Jeddah. It's like, wait, what? We're already here?
And that was the other thing that was funny to me, like watching it all together. There were a lot of moments in Rogue One that I was like, oh, now there's gonna be a dialogue scene. It's like, no, action, let's go.
We gotta go.
And it's like, wait, can we just stop for like 3 episodes and talk?
It's so funny that we think that way now when Andor, the slow burn of Andor is gonna take people away from it. And now it's like, no, Rogue One is going too fast. And before we go to his comment, I know Rogue One is Jean's story. So if you go straight from Andor to Rogue One, it's a big shift to who are these characters, and now they're the lead, and Cassian is taking a step back. That's a big change to get used to it. By the end, you're used to it. But it's like, why do I care about this character?
The Krennic visiting them. I skipped it because I just want to see the Cassian tie-in.
Sure, yeah.
So Bug is saying, I love Clea so much more after this final arc. Incredible performance by Elizabeth Dulau. I agree. I don't know if you saw a thing that this is her first acting role. So incredible. She was great, and I agree with Bug. This is a character I had no opinion on. I thought she was just like the bitch in the corner, and that final arc just made her one of my favorites, like by far.
Clea is a character that sneaked up on me. I think I mentioned it before we saw our Rogue One, our Andor season 2 talk. When I did my rewatch, it was of season 1 as a character that's slowly like, man, I'm getting interested in this character. You kind of forget that she's there, but she's very important in her relationship with Luthen. But every single arc just get expanding and expanding. And again, like we mentioned at the beginning, is every character in this show got a full arc or it didn't feel rushed. Like it didn't, right now Clea out of a sudden is the one helping everyone. No, this got built little by little through 9 episodes to get to that point in 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Again, a character, like you said, sitting in the background for the first season, how important she was for everything that happened. So great ending.
Love the show. Love the show.
Later we'll get into rankings and all that stuff, but the way it ended, I think was perfect. Except for the secret baby. But season 2, a lot of rewatches, I think.
Never has a show done something I hated at the end, and I've been like, okay.
Yeah, right. It's like, it doesn't change that much, but it's fine. All right, so that does it for our Andor coverage. Can't believe that series is over. Not the season, the whole series is over, but that's it. That's it for Star Wars talk.
2 seasons. Do the 5 seasons! Do the Gilroy cut.
The Gilroy cut. We'll be there in a couple of years. We'll come back and do them. They can't, no, hopefully not. They can go back. All right, now we're doing the years in between that we didn't see.
This was
just leave
Don't do it.
Don't leave it. Do it. All right, let's do a very quick, because we've gone over time. Let's see if we can do a 10-minute or less.
Last week we did like 5 hours. Go on.
I know that we've did like an hour and 40 minutes last time, but War Between Fandoms, OT. It's been a couple of weeks since we talked about Doctor Who mostly and The Last of Us. Let's talk about Doctor Who real quick. I mentioned there have been 2 episodes we haven't talked about. A new episode drops tomorrow. Lucky Day, which was this episode 2 weeks ago. Basically a Doctor-less.
The obligatory no Dr. Ruby episode, apparently.
Which I love. What this episode did at the beginning, I love. It's something I was thinking, hey, amazing. I hope they do this soon. It's just jumping in the middle of an adventure.
Yeah.
So I love that was going on. And then when it comes to just being a Ruby Sunday episode, I'm fine. I like Ruby. Let's see where she's at. And everything, the way it's building up and her new boyfriend and her working with Unit and all that, it works. It's working for me great. But as soon as they show up that everything was fake, that they have this podcast and blog and they're just trying to bring Unit down, and how easily they change everyone's perspective and opinion on Unit, and that they're lying and it's just smoke and mirrors, that monsters are fake, it lost me and didn't get me back.
Okay.
I think my least favorite so far of these last 2 seasons.
Okay.
It's like, I I didn't get it. I hated the guy, and not those that you love to hate. I just hated the guy, and I think he's gonna come back.
I think he's really gonna come back.
Yeah.
I like Lucky Day. It wasn't my favorite Doctor Who episode by any means, but I really liked it. I do like a no Doctor episode.
Yeah,
seeing companions, and I love Ruby and I love Kate. And I love this unit family that we're getting in this iteration of the Doctor. But yeah, I really like Lucky Day. I really had no complaints about it, and we get to see the Doctor be menacing at the end, which is something that this show has been missing quite a lot.
I did like that part where he comes back and basically no one's gonna remember you. You're nothing, basically. How did that work? Again, it's Doctor Who. They don't need to explain how things work, but I don't know how. Because he said, "Oh, you get invited to the TARDIS, or I am the one that invites anyone to the TARDIS," something like that. I don't know the time period that this happened.
No, I think it's probably somewhere in between the Sutek thing and Joy to the World, or somewhere in between Joy to the World and the first episode.
Don't be Joy to the World. Again, it's one of those things. I love Doctor Who with things that I have no idea how they work, how they mesh. I don't care. Just give me a show. So it's that part I did enjoy. Just it's not supposed to be able to get to Earth. How does that work? So before we get to the story and the engine that I did enjoy, am I the only one? I think they're playing the Mrs. Flood card too much. Like seems like the same beat as
last
Susan
season.
Shows up in every episode. There's a mystery. It seems like they keep repeating it. I'm getting tired of it. So I don't know.
I mean, strap on. There's 2 more episodes to go.
I know. I mean, hopefully we'll get some resolution by then. But it's like, okay, I don't see any build up. At least with Susan, I think there was some build up to it. Right now, it's like, whatever. I don't know.
No, with Susan, it was cool because it was new. Like we had no idea, but now we've known Mrs. Flood to be the menace we've suspected since the first Christmas special, because that's when she's like, never seen a TARDIS before.
Yeah.
And now like it's clearly like, okay, she's either the villain or something related to that. I don't mind she showing up. Like, I don't really care that much. Yeah. Any theories on who she is?
I mean, the easy one is to say that she's the master. But I don't think we're going with.
I think we are, man.
Okay. The only thing I wouldn't mind it, and it makes sense that why she's showing up, why she knows so much. It just reminds me of the last Master with 14th Doctor.
14, the Spy Master.
Yeah. It seems like the same kind of build. Not the same, but it's this guy that was helping them. And Secret Master. So that's the only thing that I'm kind of not worried, but it will be a little bit similar.
Hey, but at least with Jodie, they didn't drag it on that much.
No.
It was fairly quickly.
It was a great review. Even I got spoiled because I wasn't watching Doctor Who at that moment. But it was a great review for that character to come out as the Doctor. I think he did a great job. And that's where we get the whole memes of the Doctor after they go through all these musical numbers for 3 straight iterations. I wouldn't mind if Mrs. Flood is the Master. Again, I've been missing a lot of the classic villains, like the Daleks and the Cybermen. Yeah, give me the Master. I wouldn't mind it.
Buck is saying, I hope she's the Ronnie or another Time Lord. Tony is in that, the Ronnie.
I don't know.
No, I don't know who the Ronnie is.
No, Time Lord, great. Just give me.
I love the Master, but need a long break from them. I don't know, man. I watched the show a year ago, and I feel like I'm missing the Master.
Yeah,
I'm going with the Master, and again, this is like the poorest formulated theory ever. The fugitive Doctor actress Joe Martin was in the premiere for the show, cool. And so was Michelle Gomez, who plays Missy. So if Russell T Davies wants me to freak out, he's gonna bring in Missy.
Missy will be great to get Missy and this Doctor back and forth.
Missy being like, finally the Doctor, and the Doctor being like, right now I'm gay, and
sorry,
Missy being like, no,
maybe next time. But talking about the fugitive Doctor, then we go into the story and the engine. Really like that one.
That was a super weird episode.
Dude, this is the great thing about Doctor Who. And similar to how you got into it. My wife, when she just walks by and saw me watching some of the earlier episodes, like, this is just dumb, and walks away. Now she's watching this season with me, and she told me at the end of that episode, like, Doctor Who's weird, but at least it's interesting. I'm like, yes, exactly. Let's keep watching it. That's the only thing you need to know. Very weird episode with a spider that collects memories, or this guy is the one that collects stories.
Righto.
Yeah. Keeps bringing all the gods into it. So it was a cool episode. I did enjoy
Joe
it.
Martin reveal, my jaw dropped. I did not see that coming at all. I was like, what? And also Russell T. Davies being like, yeah, I really do like the timeless children thing. Sorry.
Yeah, was her line? So it's a story that's not finished, or that I'm guessing will play to the spin-off series. So I did enjoy that one.
I was gonna mention something. Oh, I just want to quickly. I don't know if we talked about this, Alberto, but if you've heard my show and if people here have heard my show, we're tracking the Doctor Who hasn't been renewed thing, which is a real thing. The show has not been renewed. Alan is saying something that I wanted to highlight quickly. Doctor Who will continue on the BBC for more seasons, even if Disney isn't on board. I hope that is true. However, the source that published this news, I would believe a guy walking down the street telling me Doctor Who is getting renewed.
It's not Puck News, right? Wasn't Puck News?
No, it's a British outlet that does a lot of sports news also. And if I see sports news for them, I'll bet on the opposite. So I'll just say that. So hopefully it's true. Hopefully it is true. But
yeah, with 2 episodes remaining, I'm scared that we might not get it.
I mean, the show has been canceled before, so.
But at least you finished. I think you finished the run with that Doctor. I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. Maybe it gets canceled for like 2 years or something.
It just seems like they made such a big deal with the 60th anniversary and everything that came out to then just sorry, cancel it in 2 seasons because streaming numbers are not what they wanted.
Because no one is watching the show.
Let's not get into streaming numbers. Again, I love the show. Hopefully it does come back for a 3rd season. Unless they're able to finish this season out in a satisfying way, then we can deal with it.
Yep. Buck loved the story and the ending, and Gas also. Same man. Same.
All right, so to finish up real quick, Last of Us, 2 episodes. We talked a little bit about day 1 last week. Not really. We just said it was a great episode. And then Feel Her Love this past week. And also a show that only has 2 episodes left, which is kind of weird. Also 7 episodes, which I didn't know.
Yep.
Great, again. Great season so far. 2 great episodes. Now we see how... Don't tell me I just forgot her name. I just forgot her name. I'm dying here. And I have Abby in my head.
Ellie?
Ellie,
Nina?
thank you. No, Ellie. The level of madness that she goes into when she sees that hospital and says, screw everything else. I'm going to go finish what I started. I was hoping for her to say, I'm immune, bitch. What the hell do you think is going to happen? And then just beats her with that pipe. Where's Abby? Clang, clang.
Just like
and the scars. Just like the game. I've never played this game. Sometimes I watch certain things and I'm like, how is this a game? How can you play this
A lot
game?
of people tell me that.
But it shows how these scars that a couple of episodes ago, there's people that whistle in the forest and get killed really easily. Oh no, they're a force to be reckoned with. You gotta be careful.
I think this is my favorite episode so far because it captures the madness of the second game. Like 1 second you're facing down a zombie, then there's 3, then there's 11. Then you somehow get out of it and the wolves are right around the corner, so you go into this forest to hide, and there's the Seraphites doing a ritual. Like, that's the insanity of the game. Like, Seattle is one of the 9 circles of hell. Like, it's a crazy, crazy place.
Yeah, when she said, Seattle
what
sucks.
the fuck is wrong with Seattle?
Yeah.
I really like this episode. Some changes. This is not at all how Jesse comes into the story in the game.
Okay.
But I kind of think I know how they're gonna structure it now, so I'm excited. And this is not how Dina gets decommissioned in the game. She stays back the minute Ellie realizes she's pregnant.
Okay.
Because she has like very bad sickness, so she doesn't go on. And also Ellie in the game is the one who gets shot in the leg with an arrow, but if you really think about it, that doesn't make any sense because she needs to like kill an entire army. So
I mean, I'm right there with Dina and with Jesse. It's like, just go. Look what's waiting for you. Why do you want to keep going? But I love how
it's like that's gonna bring her trouble later on.
Yeah. Day one, what was it? I was gonna say something about previous episode that I really liked and I forgot what it was. Anyway, at some point I'll remember. Let me see real quick.
Yeah. But no, I'm dying to see where it's gonna end because I really can't think of a point. Like there's a moment in the game that I think it could end, but I don't think it will make any sense to do that now. So we'll see.
And when the series ends, I want to get your take on how everything works together with comparing it to the game, if the story works and any changes. I remember if they didn't kill Joel in that second episode, in episode 5 or 4 in day 1, when she gets beat and Dina's just pointed that gun at her, I thought she might get it. At this point, like, okay, they're not going to kill both of the main characters, but if Joel was still alive, it wouldn't surprise me if she got shot in the face. Great acting by both of them. It's like, oh crap,
in the game that doesn't happen at all. So
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. All right. Oh, look who showed up. Dale.
Hey,
hello
Dale.
there. Dale. Catch you on the replay. Thank you, Dale, as always, for checking us out.
Let's get out of here. I'm hungry.
All right, let's get out of here. Thank you to everyone that joined us today. Our friends Buck, Lauren, Brennan, Alan, and Dale for the last couple of minutes. Oti, thank you for being here again. And thanks to Tony for being here for our first episode. Our friend Mo joined us for episode 2. And then Andres last week. Thank you to everyone that was here. Thank you, Oti, as always. And everyone that was in the chat all these 4 weeks. Great Star Wars show. Great ending to the Andor story. And we'll be back next week, maybe.
I won't be here next week.
So you know what? All right, perfect. Then I'll do my review of Into the Light and The Wayseeker next week. And then we'll figure out something else. So stay safe. Be safe. May the Force be with you, everyone. See you next week.